Hi Gemini, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your February 2021 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic crossbred as always, and actually we'll start the reading off by rolling some astrology dice so we could see where your areas of focus will be there. And then we'll take a look at some oracle cards I pulled for you guys in a Mudra card. And also regarding personal readings, before I forget to mention that, if you guys are interested in that, just check out the description of the video for more details there. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with these dice. Whoa, alright, one of them fell. But we have South Node, Scorpio, and let me see. Let me pick up that other one. Alright, and it's 7. So, alright. So, 7th house, that's Sagittarius. And we do have the South Node there. So, for you guys, you might be focusing on your relationships this month. That's certainly a possibility. And partnerships of all kind. We have the sign of Scorpio. So, for you guys, Scorpio is your 6th house. So, you might be focusing on your health, daily routines, your work. For some, you just can be pointed to 8th house matters as well, since Scorpio is the natural ruler there. And then we have the South Node. So that's also, won't focus, but South Node is also in your 7th house of Sagittarius. So could definitely be a lot of focus on relationships for you guys, maybe reconnecting with someone from the distant past. That's certainly a possibility as well. But we'll keep those in mind as we go through the reading. All right, so starting with the main situation, we have the 2 of Wands. So this is actually Aries energy here. And obviously this looks like an indicator that you guys might be ready for a fresh start, possibly wanting to travel. This can point to the fact that you guys have Jupiter and Saturn in your 9th house now, so maybe you're looking at distant horizons in some way, maybe even expanding your worldview. But for a lot of you, I feel like this is more of a physical thing where you guys are ready to move, maybe check out some new places you haven't seen yet. Obviously, there could still be some restrictions around that, depending on where you are in the world, but it at least looks like you're considering doing something along those lines there. In the Challenger obstacle position, we have the Knight of Swords, which is Gemini energy, and the 7 of Cups, which is Scorpio energy. So we already see the Scorpio influence there. Now, I will say, for some of you, this could just be warning you to be careful about getting in your own way. Since this is your card, and we see the 7 of Cups there, saying that you might not be seeing the situation clearly. So, on the one hand, you might be ready to take action, but you have to watch out for the possibility of doing so too rashly, to where you're not seeing a situation clearly, and then that could land you in hot water in some way. But this could just be pointing to the fact that I always point out to people that for me, this Knight of Swords card tends to pop up a lot when we're approaching a Mercury retrograde cycle, which we are. In February, Mercury is going to be retrograde for a pretty good chunk of the month. It's already in shadow as we speak. It's going to go retrograde at the very end of January. So, could definitely be pointing to that as well, saying that you might not be seeing things too clearly. So, especially if it is around some kind of distant travel or dealings with foreign affairs of some kind, I would say try to hold off on that until March if you can. Alright, in the foundation position, we have the Page of Wands. So, again, this is another indicator to me that you guys are ready to move, right? And that might pretty much represent the entire zodiac at this point, given all of the restrictions we have had on movement lately. So, it'd be natural if you guys are just ready. Like, look, I need to get out of here. I need to go out, I need to do something, right? I need to travel. So, again, I feel like that's what this primarily points to for a lot of you. But just in a more broad sense, I would say that this represents you guys really wanting to take action. And I will say, if this is someone that you're dealing with, given that the Knight of Swords is looking right down at them, could just be saying to, before perhaps confronting someone, especially in a negative sense, make sure that you have the facts straight there, because, for example, if this is your energy or a knight, this person's a page, so they're not quite to the level you're at anyway, so try not to make any assumptions about anyone, especially because generally speaking, if this is another person, page energy usually does represent a level of purity and innocence, so there is that. All right, a lot came up in the past position for you guys, so we'll go through these. We have the Five of Swords, which is Aquarius energy, and these are the degrees where Saturn and Jupiter are right now. Six of Cups, so actually there's that Scorpio energy again. Middle 10 degrees of Scorpio there. Nine of Swords, Gemini energy. Four of Swords, Libra energy. Queen of Swords, also Libra energy. And the Magician. So I do have to say, for the majority of you, I feel like this is saying that you might want to heal a connection from your past, probably romantically related, given that I see a couple of Libra cards here, and also the Six of Cups. So given that Libra for you guys is your fifth house of romance, and the Six of Cups often points to reconciliation, I feel like this is saying that, you know, someone you might have had a falling out with probably didn't go too well in the past, given that we do see the Five of Swords there. It looks like there's that desire to get back with this person. And, you know, keep in mind, too, I always say that the Six of Cups for me is the being the bigger person card, because I look at the size difference between the people there. And it looks like he's the one extending the cup to the other person. So it could be what's on your mind. You know, if you did have a falling out with someone, you may be considering approaching them to put things back on track. Probably having a lot of anxiety around that, like, should I do it, should I not do it, right? Being on the fence there. But I see with the Four of Swords here, it's saying actually taking that time to heal, you know, not rushing into anything. So we already talked about that dynamic there. And eventually, I think this is saying that if you do take the adequate amount of time to really think it over and heal, this will get you in a position to move forward and knowing that, okay, I know what the right, fair, balanced thing to do in this situation is, and then actually taking action toward that. Now, for some of you, this can represent someone approaching the situation the same way toward you, so could go either way there. And this isn't a past position, but, you know, for those of you who watch this in February, you might have already gone through this. For those of you watching it now, when I first posted, you might not have experienced this yet, so just wanted to mention that. All right, in the present position, we have the Moon, the Knight of Wands, and the Hanged Man. So again, I'm seeing a lot of desire for movement mixed in with confusion, right? So the Moon, to me, could represent a similar energy to what we saw with the Seven of Cups. The Knight of Wands could represent that similar energy to what we see with the Knight of Swords, and especially with the Page of Wands in the mix as well. And then the Hanged Man, some confusion around that, right? So there might be some vacillation. Like I said, this would be a great time to just hold off on things. Like I said, especially mid-March would be really good, because by then Mercury will be out of retrograde and Mars will be in your sign. So that would be a much better time to take action in general. Whereas with Mars in your 12th, on the one hand, you might have the desire to do things, but then when it actually comes time to do it, you might feel like you just don't have that oomph, you know? So that could be part of what this is pointing to as well. Aside from that, let me see if anything else comes to mind with these. Yeah, and I do have to say, if you were dealing with a fire sign too, you know, this could just represent you still not being sure about if you want to get back in the connection with this person. With that Hangman, that could just represent the message of, you know, just give it some time, think it through, really consider, all right, is that the best move or no? Near future position, we have the Nine of Wands, so Sagittarius energy here, and the Five of Pentacles, Taurus energy. So seeing the Sagittarius energy here, we do have the South Node as one of the main areas of focus that came up for you guys, and it's actually in those degrees of Sagittarius, and of course that being your 7th house too. So this could definitely be around relationships for a lot of you, and this could, again, this could point to that energy that I was seeing with the Five of Swords, which is to say that however things were left off between you and this person, it probably didn't go too well in the past, and this could be how either you're feeling, possibly even both of you, where, you know, you feel like you were left out in the cold in a situation. You went through some really rough times together, right? And, you know, that could be where your mind could, you might vacillate. And one moment you might see things from a very positive point of view, thinking about the good times you guys had together, and then the next day you might be thinking of more of the negative side of the connection, you know? So you could just be going back and forth. again, I would see that as an indicator that now might just not be the primary time, ideal time to move forward with the connection. Just give it a little more time until you are more sure of yourself one way or the other. All right. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So, again, we see that desire, that hope for a new start in some area. For some of you, this can be around finances too. That certainly could be the case. Um, but I always point out to people that to me, the Ace energy represents something that's more in the idea stage as opposed to actually taking action toward it. So, again, this could just be heavily on your mind, but you just might not quite be ready to move toward it yet. Keep in mind that, especially around the time I'm recording this, we're moving into a situation where Mars is going to be meeting up with Uranus in your 12th house. Jupiter and Saturn are squaring those things, so it's going to be pretty intense energy, and that's going to all be going on in your 12th house. So you could really be stuck in your head around a lot of things. Again, that desire to maybe take sudden action, maybe do all of the things at once, right? But could just be saying you might want to pace yourselves and maybe even just give yourself a singular focus. That could be what the Ace of Pentacles is saying there. Focus on one thing at a time, and that'll be your best bet for now. In the environment position, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here, which for you guys is your 4th house, but can also just represent work in general. So could just be saying that that's where your energy and focus is. Maybe you're just focusing on money. This can be someone that you're dealing with as well. So, that could be what's going on too, where maybe they've just been so wrapped up in their work that they haven't really had the time to put into the connection. So that could be where the disconnect could be there as well. There's nothing really going on in your 6th house right now, or in Virgo, quite frankly. So I don't necessarily see a huge emphasis there, but could just be saying that that's what you guys are working on, and that could even be the messaging for you, which is to say, for the time being, just keep your head down, try to rest, stay at home for a bit, and the time will come, especially when Mars gets into your sign, to actually take action. And like I said, the good thing is, a few days after Mars is in your sign, Mercury will be out of retrograde too. That'll be in early March. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Queen of Cups, which is Cancer energy, Ace of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. So, with the Queen of Cups, which is Cancer energy, it always makes me think of the fact that this is the only cup in that entire suit where the cup is actually closed off. And then compare that with the Ace of Cups where it's wide open, right? So could just be saying that you guys are hoping to open up a bit more, right? Open up yourselves to the possibility of love connections, but then when it comes down to it, you might just really get stuck in your head and feel like you don't even know where to start. That could certainly be one way it's playing out. And then especially for those of you with that reconciliation theme I was seeing there, that could be how you're feeling toward a certain person, where you might want to open up to them, let them know that you want to start again, but then when it's actually time to say something, you might, just really just get stuck in your head and start to second guess yourself. Again, like I said, that's energy that I definitely see probably clearing up for the majority of you as we get into March. So, you might have to just write this month off as not the primary month to take action. But that's going to be, my guess, this is going to be how it plays out for a lot of signs this month, just because the energy is going to be pretty intense. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So this is a great card to see in the outcome position for a couple of different reasons. For one, if this is around finances for you guys, it represents that financial stability there and some success too. So if you guys have been stuck in your head and really worried about finances, it looks like this is going to be a good card to see there. This is around family connection, where I mentioned that could be how this is playing out, where maybe for some of you this is a family connection that you're trying to repair. Looks like that will actually be successful this month as well. And I will say that that is the good energy with retrograde sometimes, is that if there is already something that is off the rails, usually having that retrograde energy, it could bring something into focus that you might have overlooked in the past, and then that could actually be what helps repair things as well. So that's certainly a possibility. And above all else, I would say the good thing about this card coming up in the outcome position for you guys is the fact that I see a lot of uncertainty here, a little bit of instability. You know, like I said, that Knight of Swords with the Seven of Cups, the Moon with the Knight of Wands and the Hangman, you know, a lot of back and forth. Nine of Wands and that Five of Pentacles. So to see you guys close out with the Ten of Pentacles shows me that, hey, whatever's going on, you know, it could be a bit chaotic for a bit. You could be back and forth, a bit torn in your energy, but it looks like as we get closer to the end of February, you guys are going to be a lot better off. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant. So this is Taurus energy. And like I said, there's all of that stuff going on in the sign of Taurus with the squares and Mars conjunct Uranus. So just be on the lookout for that. Like I said, especially you might have your dream worlds overly active. You just might be second guessing yourselves, wanting to do a lot of things, but then not really having the energy to pull through with it. Those energies should pass, so just keep that in mind. All right, and next we'll move on to the oracle cards. First we have Poised. There's the artwork, and the number is 48. So we'll see what that has to say. To me, that definitely makes me think of what I was talking about with the Ten of Pentacles coming up in the outcome position for you guys, where maybe things will be a bit shaky for a while, but looks like eventually they'll get settled. Essential meanings says being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The Oracle's message. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. So, pretty good message there, and I will say the part about, you know, people respond to your confidence and trust you, I would say is that's a good message to keep in mind, especially if you are in that energy where you're feeling a bit torn with the Knight of Swords and the Seven of Cups, the Moon, the Knight of Wands, and the Hangman, you know, where you vacillate a bit. Like, okay, one day you feel one way, the next day you feel another. That could just be saying, you know, with this Ace of Pentacles energy here, it could just be telling you to ground yourselves in that regard. Really focus on one thing at a time. That'll get you in your lane where you need to be. Then you can move forward with that confidence. The relationship message says when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. So interesting reading that last sentence, well, the last two, I should say, where it says you're ready to give and receive from the heart. Made me think of what I was saying there with the hopes or fears, where there's that desire to be open, but I feel like you guys might just get stuck a little bit at some point. So that could be a phase that you're going to be working out of as well. The prosperity message says you have every reason to feel confident. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. The direction you're moving in is your destiny. Your soul is smiling with joy as you align with this truth. So, pretty solid message there too, especially for those of you where if you are actually going to be taking action, and it's not so much about you deciding should I, shouldn't I, but maybe you actually do take action towards something, and then you might start to second guess, was it the right move? That could be a supportive message there. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. All right, and next we have Truth Be Told. There's the artwork, and the number is 14. Okay, it says honesty, accepting things at face value, coming out of denial, the willingness to be transparent, clarity of communication. The Oracle's message. There is the truth, which is the essence of a thing, and then there is a truth, subjective to the philosophy of the adherent or believer. This is not a time for debate about which truth is truer. This is a time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Nothing less than surrender to what is, Peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to an illusion will set you free. Be authentic and gloriously flawed, and Spirit will answer with miracles. So definitely a pretty positive message there. Reading that part about, peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to an illusion, that made me think of the Seven of Cups energy we saw in the challenge position, and even the Moon card as well, which can play out that way sometimes, depending on the surrounding cards. So hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says people tell you who they are very quickly if you're willing to listen to what they say and pay attention to how they behave. This card calls you to engage in heartfelt, open conversation. It's time to see the truth about what you share with each other and tell the truth about who you are and what you need. No one can do that for you. Remember that your truth is always based on your personality and experience up to now. A higher truth will be found after you communicate honestly and see how doing so has helped you become more attuned to yourself. Don't hold back. Speak your truth and listen. So an interesting message there, because what I would say with that, in a relationship sense, this could just be saying that maybe you'd been in a situation where you felt like your needs weren't being met, right? And then part of the issue with that could have been what we're seeing in the hopes of fears, where you've been closed off, right? And when you wanted to open up, there's been that reluctance to do so. So what that could be saying in that regard is that, you might actually have to take that leap and actually express yourselves a bit more what your needs are. And then if that's the case, this Eight of Pentacles we see here could represent that person actually, after you guys come to that understanding, being willing to put in that work with you to improve the connection. And then that could be where we're seeing that Ten of Pentacles come into play. So something to think about there. Hopefully that resonated. All right, the prosperity message says, are you willing to do whatever it takes to experience the prosperous life you desire? If you want to be an artist, do you make your art a priority? If you want to be a healer, do you set time aside to learn new things to help you serve? A writer must write and a singer must sing. Being true to your calling is essential to your moving forward. There is another oracle message here too. It's time to have a look at the real, honest truth about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about prosperity, about your relationship to money, to compensation, and to meaningful work. Ask yourself, what is true for me? And you will find the key to abundance. So, pretty solid message there too. And that makes me think of the Ace of Pentacles, right? What I could just be saying that is, you guys reevaluating how you do view things when it comes to finances. And interestingly, after reading these two messages now, I feel like almost like this is probably the primary card as far as this might be where you're at now. And then that eventually, once you take the steps that came through in these messages, you'll find yourselves in that poised position. So it's interesting to see it that way. I feel like that's probably the more natural progression, because I feel like this card resonates a little more with where you're at right now. And then if you do this work, that should lead you to that poised position. So hopefully that resonated with you too. And finally, we have a Mudra card. So the Mudra you guys got for this month is the Chakra Mudra. There it is there. The keyword for it is consolidation. And there's the info on it if you guys want to pause it or take a screenshot. But under benefits, it says centering and grounding, improves digestion, assimilation and elimination, reduces gas and bloating, increases vigor and self-confidence. So that sounds like something that would be beneficial for you guys. And we'll put the name of the Mudra in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.